Hey, welcome to Open Collar, the only show where you can't blame us. We voted for Kodos. I'm Cory. Well, it's Steve McCoy. Welcome to the show. If you're live streaming us, youtube.com at Open Collar Pod, and thanks for doing so. And if you listen to us on the pod platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is, thank you so much.
Everything.
Everything. If it's on the internet, we apparently are on there.
What is the main difference today versus weeks past recently?
We made it on time.
That, yes, and no technical issues whatsoever. Woo-hoo. Amazing.
No, I think I figured out my conversation last week was how I had remote desktop to my iPad. I turned that off, and my laptop works fine.
Yep, it's
Go figure.
off to a clean start. I mean, will we fall off the tracks at some point tonight? Maybe, but
We're only a minute 32 in,
so far so good. So far so good.
First and foremost, how goes the steps?
On track. 21
track.
days in a row. 10 more days. I go into the office 3 days a week now, and we kind of have our desks situated in such a way where it's like there's four corners, and then each of us sit at a corner, and that's kind of it. And there's a walkway in between. And so for meetings, if I'm not presenting or if I don't need to pay attention, I'll get up and I'll just do laps. And I feel bad because the other three that are on phone meetings at the time with their cameras on see me just glitching like the Matrix, going back and forth. But that helps get in, I would say, at least 3,000 to 4,000 of the 10,000 steps per day that I need to get, which is awesome.
Did you ever consider doing something like repetitive to make it seem like there's a loop?
No, but you know what?
Like walk by and like drop a pencil, pick it up, and then walk by around again, and then drop pencil, pick it up, and then.
Oh my God, I'm totally doing that next week. Yeah, you know what? Let's put a pin in that, and we'll talk on during 116 for an update. But yes, I'm definitely
someone think that they have like just like a background loop.
Sure. Yeah, because like I'm not sure if you use Microsoft Teams at work or if you have used Microsoft Teams.
Yes,
but, and they tend to switch things around on the users in terms of updates and new additions.
Yeah,
things are taken away and whatnot without any notification, at least at our level at work. So if I play it just right, I could confuse the person on the other end thinking, is this a Microsoft Teams issue or am I actually glitching? Did I take the red pill? Did I take the blue pill this morning? What is happening? Yeah, I'll confuse them.
This is not the time to go into Teams because I loathe it with a passion.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that then. Yeah. But stay tuned next week. I'll have an update on
that better happen.
Looks and you know snarky looks that come in my direction when I walk by during a meeting.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's like it's part and parcel with anything in the office. If you do something out of the norm, there's going to be looks.
Oh yeah.
Like my
21 days in a row, I'm good to go.
21 days.
I am on track.
Something once November hits, you're going to keep going, or that's enough walking?
That's it. I go down to like 500 a day. No, you know what? I am
motorized carts after this.
I think I'm going to try and keep it up. If the 21 days has taught me anything, it's that 10,000 a day isn't really that hard to achieve if you're not a complete lazy person.
I have 4,800.
Well, so see, it's you know what though, you can do it still. You can do it.
I could. I won't, but I could.
But yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep going. Why not? See how it goes.
Like I went a month, maybe 5 weeks of not working out per se, but doing some light working up before going to bed. And then like a week hit where like I'm tired, and then just off the rails.
Just that's it.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? My clothes still fit. I think they would fit better if I kept it going, but
Yeah. The big litmus test for me will be once it snows, how motivated am I? Because right now I'm like, I'm going to walk to the store. I'll walk to the corner store to get my lottery ticket on Friday, or if we need milk, I'll walk there. Or, I'll walk to grab the boys from school, or check the mail. Now you add snow into the equation. Maybe we'll get milk next week, and do we really need the mail this month, kind of thing, right? So,
like for me, like the mailbox is across the street, so if I hopped in the car to go the 15 steps, that's a problem.
But
that's a paddling.
I mean, I've done it, so
like, yeah, if I'm going to go out, right, like I'll get in the car, drive to and then continue my excursion, but I'm not going to get in the car, back out, 3-point turn in front of the mailbox and then right back into the driveway.
See, that's when you want to, that's how you should glitch your neighbors, is to do something like that. Pull out, check the mail, drive in, pull back out, put something in the mail, drive in, and just constantly go on a loop for 5 or 10 times. Really throw people off.
Or just sit here and make you think I'm frozen. Just fuck with you. Just bring in the technical difficulties without technical difficulties.
You've seen those videos before, right? Of people like trying to do that on like a multi teams meeting.
Meetings, and they get called like, so we'll go to Colin here. Colin. Oh, we seem to be having difficulties. Moving on. It's smart, like genius. Shit. I've also seen the throw up as your like screensaver or background. Your computer has to reboot like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the day's out. So like, oh, it's rebooting. There's no sense continuing this. I'll just go home.
That's brilliant,
right? Now that we've said this, we can't never do it.
That's right. Yeah, you know what? Don't listen to this episode, okay? It's just put this out of your mind. Yeah,
cut this out. Like we had to with an episode recently.
Yeah, we got to be careful. Careful, we don't want to upset people.
Oh no, we have. I never heard back. I've never heard back from. I can't remember the name of the group that told us to take that down.
Do you get notified of who these people are?
No, the funny thing is, though, I actually didn't get the notification. Vishal sent it to me. It came to his email. So we discovered, so years and years ago, we did a podcast. It was the Go VNC podcast for our website, govnc.com. Yeah. So he had at the time, not to date ourselves, but we're going to date ourselves, a Google Plus page. Remember Google Plus for like the year and a half that like maybe people talked about it? So when he created the page, I guess it created some sort of email address associated with the page that you cannot change ever for the brand account.
That's right.
So I discovered, he was the primary on that. So he got the notification. So thankfully he sent it over. But yeah, so episode 109, we had to pull some content down, otherwise risk our ability to do further shows.
Because clearly the person was making tons of money off of that clip that we showed.
Apparently, there's a lot of money to be made off of Corey Feldman doing a crack cocaine PSA.
Unless that was the one. Oh my God.
That was the one, yeah.
Oh,
that we had to take down.
Honest to goodness.
And I asked, could we just leave everything as is and cut that part out? And no response. So I took it down, took it out, put it back up. So that's why we're now, I think it's 110, 111, 12, 13, 14, 9.
Right.
Tonight's recording. So yeah, we're so big now. We got SNL cease and desists, and now some copyright complainer.
Telling you, they like coming after us. They can't hold us down. We got to show something. But I mean, honestly though, this person thinks that they're going to be making money, or how many? I'd be curious to know wherever that clip happened to have originated from.
Well, I found it on the YouTube.
How many?
Someone's allowed to post it.
How many views did it have? And am I allowed to? Because if you think of like TikTok and Instagram and all the social media sites, you see a lot of content creators. What do you do for a living? I'm a content creator.
That's right.
I'm an influencer.
That's right.
It's terrible. I mean, that's besides the point. But you see those people that will post and comment on videos of Corey Feldman or of Taylor Swift or of whoever, but they're okay to do that. So I just don't understand, like, where is the differentiation between what we did versus what someone that would post it on Instagram would do?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish they would have responded and I would have had a further conversation.
Do we have lawyers on retainer that we could ask, or?
I mean, like, if you're a lawyer,
To be
I know I
continued.
don't. It'd be nice,
Yeah.
but no, I don't. So I've discovered
Mm.
23 of 28 straight days I've been working. Actually, no, 23 of 28 days, not 23 straight of the 28 days. So
I was going to say,
I am
that's-
exhausted.
but you know what though? I mean, that's kind of
Par for the course when you're in the sports.
yeah, yeah. But that seems a bit high. Just having some experience in that industry, that seems a bit
So we
high.
had, and what's funny, like nothing, only one back to back, which is the crazy thing.
Yes.
But we had like a Sunday that went to another Saturday because of the Fan Fest event. So that's 7 days.
Mhm.
Then you get the Sunday off, and then another 6 days because of a Saturday game, and then 2 days off, and then here we go, weekend. So it'll be nice to have a Sunday off.
When is your next? Tomorrow, obviously.
My next what, day off?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow. We don't have a game until Tuesday, so we get 2 days off.
Are they
And
on the
then we'll
road
weekend.
next weekend?
Yeah, I think they go away for 2, and then they're back for a couple, then they go, and then they're back for a couple, and then they're off to Europe.
You were around for the what was it? The last hockey strike or Olympics where the players participated. Do you remember that? And how
Yep.
hectic that was, where it was a condensed season, and
Yep.
you wanted to like peel your
Oh yeah,
eyeballs out of
especially
your
that
face.
shortened season that was a 48 game sprint,
Yeah.
and right into playoffs against Montreal.
48 games in 24 days. It felt like,
Yeah,
right? So,
I was trying to get everybody back to the grind. Is call people back who were like furloughed and stuff from the lockout, and then get them in, and then get everybody their tickets because I think we had like 6 days to get everything situated before game started.
Yeah. Yes, I do remember that. Fun times that I don't miss at all.
Not at all. You, sir, are one of the lucky ones.
Can we just quickly talk about baseball and how happy I am after last night's game?
No. Yeah,
No.
go ahead.
On to Corey
You got
Feldman.
the hat on. Corey Feldman.
What a game.
So when I saw the score, it was going into the ninth, and they were the Astros, Houston Astros, that is.
Yep.
We're down by what, 2, 3?
They're down by 3.
3, that's right.
Sorry.
And it's like, well,
2. Yeah.
I guess
2.
we're down by 2. They got 3 because they won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of Altuve, who is a god when it comes to the postseason. That game was one of the most exciting games that I've seen in a long time in the postseason from the Astros. But they said that we'd be out after going down 0-2. But we came back, won 3 on the road, going back home 2 in a row, 1 to close it off. I'm very happy. There was a bit of a melee last night too. I'm not sure. Did you see the highlights or did you see that live?
No, it's up really early and out the door.
Okay. All right. Well, let me fill you in.
Please do.
Not Aroldis Chapman, sorry. Garcia for Texas had hit a 3-run homer in the I'm looking at my book here, in the 6th inning to put the Rangers ahead. And his next and when he hit that home run, he walked from home plate halfway to first base before he started jogging around. So you fast forward through the lineup and you get him up at bat for his next go around, and he gets beamed in the shoulder and he starts going right after John, Maldonado, who's the catcher. And then the bench is clear and it's a whole thing. And, the pitcher for Houston gets tossed out. Dusty Baker, who's the manager, gets tossed out for Houston. Texas's closer was already in at that point in the 8th inning because he was looking for a 4-out save. But there was a long time, and generally when it comes to relievers, you don't want them to be sitting for too long once they start rifling pitches down the lane. You want to get them in as quick as possible. And so this, obviously, because of the delay, because of the benches clearing, it was a lot longer than normal. And then that's what led to Altuve's home run. And the pitcher for Houston got suspended for 2 games. And they're appealing it, so he'll still be eligible for the rest of the series. But the gentleman for Texas, Garcia, only got a fine. So lots of action, lots of intrigue last night.
Does that just seem like the dumbest rules? Like, you are suspended, but you appealed, so you can still play.
Yeah,
even though you technically you were told you can't.
It is. I think that's in any sport too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's 2-game suspension that they're going to appeal. I don't think he will get one. I mean, he came in. He had thrown 6 pitches or 5 pitches to that point.
Yep.
And hit him on the 6th. And it was a whole thing. But I mean, if you'd seen the replay, for the viewers and listeners out there, I would encourage you to go and watch the replay of the home run that he hit. And you'll see him walking down the line, which is just, I mean, we've all seen crazy celebrations. You know, think of like Jose Bautista and the bat flip. You think of other ones where they just, you know, like they chuck the bat down, or they, like, you know, do a hand gesture or whatever the case might be. This was up there for the most ludicrous of walks or celebrations as he hit the ball out of the park. So another thing too is I've come to realize I'm very superstitious when it comes to my games. So they lost the first 2 games
and everything like that.
Yeah, everything. Hats that I'm wearing. So they lost their first 2 games, and I was wearing a certain hat, so that hat's not being worn anymore. Game 3 they won. I put on the new hat. I was actually also using this pencil. They lost that game, so I just switched to a new pencil, put on the new jersey, put on a new hat, and they've won ever since. So I'm sticking with that pattern up until they lose again. So
are those items going to get burned now? Because like,
no,
they're what you wear when they lose.
No. Fresh season. Like when the season starts again, or if it's a new series, then it's okay. It's just for that one series that they're in. If they get out of it and it starts over, then
yeah. So if you put that, they win. You put that other hat back on. Just
no.
Happenstance. And it happens, and you lose. Or would it be like you're wearing this one, and then they lose, and then next season comes, you start over, clean slate, you put the same one on, they keep losing. Is it gone?
No, just for that series. Not gone forever. It's just gone for that series. Just gone for that
playoff series or all series?
Playoff series. No, just that one.
Regular season. Fuck that.
Yeah, start fresh, you know. What's the we hear it everywhere, like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, I would be like a sane person, because I do stuff different to get a different result, and it's working. So I am a sane person.
Question though, like if a smart person says that, then it's true. But if somebody were to do something that we would consider insane, you know, such as like, that's the current.
Such as what you're doing, Steve.
Such as what you're doing, Steve. We think, oh, you're insane. Like, you have these rituals. You know, players do it. Everyone does it. But because Einstein said the insanity part is doing the same thing, expecting a different result, rather than changing what you're actually doing, expecting different results, you look like the crazy person.
Yeah, you can't win.
No, you can't please anybody.
No, but anyway, very happy. Game 6 is tomorrow. 8:07. It's the only downside of cheering for a team that's in Central Time or Mountain Time is that no Central Time. It's that the time change kind of screws with you.
Or if you're an East Coast team and you're in like the final, they move it to 8 o'clock anyway.
Could you imagine being like someone who was born and raised in Vancouver, and your dad or mom worked in the military, and you're a huge Canucks fan or a huge Lions fan, and then you move to Newfoundland or Nova Scotia, and having to still follow that team? Like I mean, at that point, I would just give up on the sport or cheer for someone new.
No, I personally would, like, if I was from the East Coast, move to the West Coast and still follow my team because it's on so much earlier.
That's true. Yeah. Like, what is it? Football's on Sundays out in the West Coast. They start at 10.
Yeah. So like a 7 o'clock start. Here's 4 o'clock there. It's like you get
be
home
okay.
from school and you're catching a Sens game at 4:00, blacked
that
out
would be.
because regional.
Right.
Fucking NHL.
Right.
I mean,
how was the crowd today?
Oh, it's jam packed.
Yeah, I bet.
Sold out. Oh yeah. Standing room only.
Okay, now I'm starting to question the authenticity of your. Was it really standing only?
Standing room tickets were available.
Wow.
That's all I'll say.
Okay. Well,
I mean, like if there's an empty seat and you sat in it, then I guess it's not standing room only. But on paper, there was only standing room tickets to sell.
Right. From the rafters.
Do some news and get into our later discussion. Did you see this? Disney did it was their 100th anniversary celebration the other day, and they have a short. It's called Once Upon a Studio. Now, in this short, they took almost, I think, virtually every one of their animated characters over 100 years and did a little skit where they all had to get together for a photo. And one thing that people noticed was they brought the Genie back, and it was Robin Williams' voice, so people thought AI or something. But turns out Disney, through their archives and with permission from Robin Williams' estate, they used actual outtakes from his recording session of Aladdin.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it was very, very short. The whole thing, it's 9 minutes from start to finish. So there's maybe like 2 or 3 lines, but we got some fresh Robin Williams content that's legit, not from our current AI.
Where is this video available?
So it's on Disney Plus. You can watch it.
Okay.
And it's got archival footage of Peter Pan and all this other stuff. And obviously the actors who are still with us, they recorded new dialogue for, but it takes, clips and characters from basically you name it, even stuff you probably wouldn't have thought someone would have remembered. They're in it too, like Big Bad Wolf, some of the old
that's
40s
cool.
and 50s cartoons. It was pretty cool. And then like I said, just hearing Robin again and doing his probably one of his most iconic roles.
Yeah, it's pretty sad at this point where we now live in a world where our first question is like, is it AI? And not something that's more logical. And no, it's outtakes because they flubbed the line or they kept on spitballing and
like Robin, right? He just went off on a tangent.
Yeah,
no, we can't use this because profanities. But
that's pretty cool. I'll have to watch that. 9 minutes. I can definitely invest that time.
You can fit that in there. Yeah, it's not Scorsese's fucking latest, right? That's like
yeah.
Seems with the Killer, whatever. I thought I knew the title off the top of my head. I don't. So it's like 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours.
What, the
new Scorsese movie, the Leo and
apparently
it's fucking
it's
good.
the one where he marries like the Aboriginal or the
yeah.
Aboriginal.
That's the one.
Woman? Yeah, don't remember the name of it, but people were walking out from the movie.
Really?
I follow someone on Facebook, and he likes to do movie reviews, and he was saying he went to go see the show in New York, and that there was like 6 or 7 people that had walked out, which I mean, it's, to me anyway, like not being a movie buff or claim to be that I'm one, seems a bit uncharacteristic for a Martin Scorsese movie. But maybe it was the length. I mean, who knows? It could
be that. Like I was just trying to think of like Goodfellas when Ray Liotta's beating the guy with the pistol whipping him, or when they're beating the guy with the bat, or even like Casino. Like he's got some violent imagery. Maybe it's that. I haven't seen the movie.
That scene with Henry Hill walking up to the neighbor's driveway is one of my favorite scenes in that movie. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
take this.
Like it's...
And that's when I fell in love with Henry. That's when I knew I would marry him.
Karen.
Karen, take this. Yeah. Great movie.
Another great scene I love too in that movie. Well, I guess we're gonna have to dedicate another episode about Goodfellas. Is when he's supposed to have the date with her and he forgets and she just pulls up when he's sitting in front of the stoop and just tears into him.
Yeah.
Or another one where
he shows
up.
I thought it was next week.
I got them right there. I thought it was next week.
You think you can stand me up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So or when he shows the other one when he shows up at the mom's house like late and the mom's chewing him out and he just turns around, walks back in the car,
starts laughing.
Yeah.
Hey, gets dropped off. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Pesci.
I saw a video actually on social media today, of all days. It's funny that we're talking about it, and it was Henry Hill that was on Howard Stern's show. And for those that know what Howard Stern's show is and the premise behind it, it's pretty off the cuff, uncensored. Yeah. Well, they had, allegedly, it was a mafia, someone who was in the mafia calling in, talking with Henry Hill, and like basically saying, if we ever catch you, we're going to kill you. And it was like live on air.
Yeah.
And, whether it's true or not, I tend to believe it would be true, just because of the way that they were talking to each other, calling, like, the guy was calling Henry a stool pigeon and using phrases that you would generally think of someone in the mafioso would use. Then I started thinking, like, would they not know?
Dead,
like, okay, if
family's dead, their family's dead.
Like, but I mean, if he's at the studio doing Howard Stern, I mean, where he is. I wouldn't even call in. I'd be like, hey guys, go there, that's where he is, and just wait for him. So,
yeah, like,
anyway, Goodfellas, great movie.
Skeptical of everybody now. When you put 2 and 2,
I blame AI.
Yeah. Sure you saw this. Lost Paulie, Burt Young. Those, like, who doesn't know Rocky? Seriously. Or Paulie from it. But
anyone listening or watching, if you don't know Rocky or haven't seen Rocky, even if you haven't seen the full thing through, like, please let us know, because we would like to talk with you.
Yeah. So for those uninitiated, I present one of the best scenes from Rocky. My best scene. I gotta admit, one of the dumbest fucking scenes in the whole franchise.
When Johnny Five bringing him a cake.
Paulie and Rocky 4 for a birthday gets this robot.
Johnny Five's alive.
Yo, I wanted a sports car for my birthday. Not no walking trash can.
Come on, he looks great here.
It's extremely psycho, Rocco.
Since you don't have any friends, we thought you'd like it.
Yeah, pretend you're happy. Well, you'll keep your company when you're all alone.
That's a great-looking guy.
Please make a wish.
It's creepy. That talks, that thing.
Creepy? These are great. I wish I had one of these when I was growing up. Come on, make a wish, like he says.
I wish I wasn't in this nightmare.
Hey, very classy wish. Very nice. What do you think there? Very good, huh?
Want to help me put out this forest fire?
Sure.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's Sylvester Stallone straight from Tango and Cash. Like, that's the same, time when they were at that age.
That was like peak, right? He was in like everything, Cobra, finishing up the Rocky franchise. Probably had another Rambo coming out.
Yeah.
Tango
Make sure
and Cash.
you watch that clip before it gets removed. I mean,
yeah,
just saying, it might happen. So, I mean, for the listeners and
we
viewers,
claim no copyright at all for any of the material, including our own.
That's right.
I'm sure we'll get stolen. So, Burt Young was 83, and he was a couple weeks ago.
Be on the lookout for.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I get it. I got the emails now. I made the change. Our Stallone had a thing. He says, to my dear friend Burt Young, you were an incredible man, an artist, and I and the world will miss you very much. R.I.P. Yeah, it was the 7th or 8th of October, and word just got out a couple days ago.
He must have been early 80s.
Yeah, I think 83.
Yeah, because if you think of, like, when was Rocky made? Rocky 1 was made 78 or
75 or 77? Yeah, I think 75. 75 between 75 and 77.
Yeah. And so he was in his mid-30s then. So, yeah. I don't remember him from
that was mid-30s
back
then, eh?
Yeah, right? And that was
like a
had
miles
mid-30s back then.
Yeah, they had miles on them back then.
Like, whoa.
He's done other stuff, but he will never not be known for the Rocky franchise.
That's right. Well, R.I.P.
And while we're on the R.I.P., it's been announced.
Yes.
Best Buy is out of the physical media, and in this case, Blu-ray DVD game. I think by 2024, you can no longer walk into a yellow tag Best Buy brick and mortar and buy 16 blocks, according to this picture.
So, I mean, I read this, and this was an example of like the Mandela effect for me. Like, didn't this like happen already in like 2016 or before COVID? That they were removing movies and video games? But maybe, I mean, obviously I'm wrong. But it's just an example of me thinking like, I'm pretty sure that I've read this already years ago.
There's probably more of a they're phasing it out than getting rid of. When was the last time you actually stepped foot in a Best Buy?
Ooh, not that long
Don't
ago,
feel like we had this
actually. It was within the last year.
Okay. And when you were there, did you see any movies? Or like a section?
No,
Because I know when you
I
used to walk
was-
in, it was right. You could not see them, and they were so prominent. The last time I
No.
was at one, it was this small, maybe half a standee, and the video game section was bigger.
Mm-hmm. I definitely don't remember seeing video games when I was there. But the movies, I don't think I saw. Like I walked in, it was like TVs in the back, and you got phones and
Mhm.
computers and laptops on the right, and then you had like, you know, coffee machines and microwaves and vacuums and whatnot. And like, what kind of, am I at the right Best Buy? Is
Yeah, they
What is
seem to have more
happening?
home appliances once they closed Future Shop down.
yeah.
So in the statement, they said, to state the obvious, the way we watch movies and TV shows is much different today than it was decades ago. Making this change gives us more space and opportunity to bring consumers new and innovative tech for them to explore, discover, and enjoy. And they did note that their video games will not be affected.
This is online as well too, right?
Physical media set to be removed from online and in stores, yeah. But they're okay for this year. They're through the holidays. This is early 2024 when they will cease selling.
Yeah.
that stuff.
I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Well, you
Like, I think
you sent me that meme today of a kid discovering a cassette. Like,
Yeah.
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 Like my kids only know. I think I said only know CDs from those books with read along, pop it in your CD player, and that's about it. They wouldn't know to. Oh, I could put this in a player and listen to it in my ears.
Side A. What is side A?
What's a 45?
Yeah. How do I fast forward?
Hey Google.
I'm not surprised. What did I hear in the and if you have this queued up, let me know. But it was also Netflix had announced.
Yep.
You have
They
this.
stop they are ceasing their direct to consumer DVD to mail service, which we thought.
No, that's not what I read.
Oh, the brick and mortar that they're going to be
Yeah.
opening up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay. Blockbuster. And
minute.
what was it? Blockbuster, and then what's the other one that was around for a bit? The Red Tube.
Red
or
box. Yeah.
Red Box, and they're like, well, we know
It's
how
a-
this story ends.
Yeah, red box inside like a Walmart or whatever. You put your money in, and it spits out a DVD
So-
for you to watch.
Netflix doing that makes me think of how it's like Disney is with the MCU, where it's like, hey, everything is going right for us. We're like the big kahuna in the, in the industry, and whatever we do will become an industry standard. Well, it's like, I don't know about that. Like, you're trying to flip the script on how literally everyone consumes now, which is, you're part of the reason why
Yeah.
they are the
You
way they
killed
are
these
now,
guys.
right? Yeah, like you're trying to zombify them by bringing them back to life. Like,
It's
not
like
happening.
Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight. You
That's
live
right.
long enough, you see yourself become the villain. Like they killed Blockbuster, and now they're going to try to become a Blockbuster.
I just like how Blockbuster trolled them. It was like, I'm pretty sure, like, I know how this is going to end. Netflix.
Meanwhile,
They're out
Netflix
with
raises
their
hand- Right?
monthly
Like-
subscriptions more. So
like it's insane how like you kill all this stuff, right? And then you bring people over, and then you kill more of it by eliminating the password sharing, so people drop off. And then like, okay, well now we're gonna bring it back, but we're gonna give you a cheaper option with ads, which is what you were paying for originally without. But now you can pay for with them, and then really we're right back to TV. You're gonna
Yeah.
pay $5.99 without him paying $21.99 to watch something that's now gonna have commercials.
Full circle. They're basically going to drive everyone back to like the telecoms that provide cable solutions, that come obviously like network television, right? So
Yeah, it's a scary time. Like it's like then you have Disney who is just shuttering all of their original content, but then jacking up their prices. And then pulling stuff off to bring back the Vault, which should have been eliminated with the whole purpose of Disney Plus.
So is there a streaming platform that you can think of that has just been consistent since they've launched? For the most part. Now, keeping in mind, Netflix has been around for years, so it's hard for me to say like since their inception. So take that with a grain of salt. But for the most part, maybe within the last 5 years, all things being equal, what streaming platform has just been the consistent without the shenanigans that have been popping up, like, removing access and increasing prices and, adding ads and removing ads. And so my vote would be Prime.
Yeah, because that's the service that you were paying for, and they added it on, right?
Yeah. But even
Pluto
in terms
TV
of
is mine.
But Pluto TV, I have Pluto TV. I've never even thought to check it
I
out.
heard about it on another podcast years ago in the States, and I looked into it. So
Yeah,
I'll get into how I accessed it in Canada in another offline conversation. But now what it's done since then, it hasn't changed its game. It was ad based, it was free. But since its inception, it's been expanding, and nothing's changed. It's got content from, and it's free. It's got content from Paramount and some other non-Paramount things. But again, and it's just like now. I was reading an article a couple days ago how it's added 4 or 5 new channels to this already free thing. Like there's channels dedicated to like King of Queens. There's a Cheers channel, like have sitcoms where it's on 24/7 that you can access for free.
Like that genre of comedy of sitcoms.
Yeah, there's
that
like
one sitcom.
So there is
like 24 hours of Cheers.
Yeah, there is. So it's broken up by genre, and each one has 4 or 5 channels. Sometimes, yes, it's dedicated to strictly one show. Another one could be just comedy and has various shows on it. There's a Family Ties channel, but it also shows other Michael J. Fox sitcoms on there.
Oh, that's a classic. I'd totally rewatch that too.
Not a Hawk Prime. They're not a sponsor yet. But that's fine. So yeah, Prime. I would also agree with Prime. And my other
just been consistent. It's not like they never blow me out of the water with like new shows that are on their platform. I think probably the only recent one that, or maybe even the one show that's ever just blown me out of the water was Boys being released on Prime. Yes. But aside from that, I mean, it's just been, pretty vanilla, like your typical movies, TV shows that are documentaries that are released on it. But it's just been consistent the whole way through. So
that's right. This week we're almost through October, and then we will not do this again.
People love it, Corey. The people love it.
This one, we'll think of something more wider ranging. I just like it.
The image is good.
That's just good old fun. So this week we've decided to talk about movies or TV shows or things that we were shocked on how things concluded. Mm-hmm. So an ending of a series or an ending of a movie or both.
Shit, I didn't even think about TV shows.
Yeah, I also went movies too.
Okay.
I was just vamping along.
But we should do like a spoiler.
Not knowing what you selected.
I would imagine that there aren't probably any in this list for me anyway. I would almost
that's like not within the past 20, 30 years.
Exactly. It's been a minute since a movie's been released. But just in case we want to say spoilers, and
you can come up with a quick
spoiler alert. Ah.
Yes, that is correct. I'm typing on my laptop, and then I realized, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm typing on my iPad.
Okay, so
And,
you have more than me, so I'll let you go first, and we'll just alternate.
there it is. Spoiler alert, because I can't type.
You are so smart. SMRT.
I had pajama pants that said that.
It's amazing.
I don't know what happened to them.
There we go. Spoiler alert.
There it is. I can spell. So this one, I'm only put on it because it shocked me of how horrible the ending was. Do you remember The Village? M. Night Shyamalan?
Yes.
Where
Vaguely.
they're living in this like commune. It's supposed to be like, olden
There's
days.
cornfields that are around or something.
Yeah,
like
and then
that.
it's
Like,
revealed that it's not. They're just like some rich folks doing like some sort of social experiment, and like it's present day. And they're just everyone living in there just doesn't know what the fuck's going on because the parents started some like don't go out to whatever like this up, and then it's like no, it's just a gated thing where this went on too long. I'm just like this is fucking stupid.
Yeah. That's enough to make you walk out of a movie theater, to be completely honest, or to turn it off.
I know his gimmick is the shock ending with the Sixth Sense. Signs not as much. How they just get rid of the aliens is a different story. That's shocking in a sense, like fucking water. But yeah, that was one that I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Like it was an interesting movie. It kind of meandered as it went on, but then like just that ending, like you gotta be kidding me.
That was going to be one of my honorable mentions was the Sixth Sense, because if you look at the topic, that's obviously one that you're going to put up there. Yeah. Like everyone knows it. So I feel as though the success of the Sixth Sense probably gave him the feeling that he could go and do whatever shocking he wants. And he's labeled as a, directorial genius kind of thing. But obviously that fell flat on its face. So
that's correct.
I'm going to go with The Departed. And towards the end of the movie, again, spoilers, towards the end of the movie, a lot of people die. But the way that the individuals died at the end of the movie, where it was discovered, or throughout the movie, we knew that Leonardo DiCaprio was hunting down Frank Costello, which is Jack Nicholson's character, and Matt Damon was the mole inside the FBI for Jack Nicholson's character, giving him the warnings to get out.
On moles, yeah.
And so you think in that movie, when at the ending scene, Leo captures Matt Damon, has him in the elevator, and you think, oh yeah, okay, like perfect, like this is the movie's gonna be over. Yeah. The elevator opens, gets popped right in the eyes, and it's found out that there was a second mole that Frank Costello had in the FBI, and then even after that, like Leo's partner,
he was a fucking mole,
and then Leo's partner, who was in Blackish, I can't remember, like he's in every movie and has been
Anthony Anderson, yeah.
Thank you. He comes out, and then he gets popped in between the eyes, and so that was one where it was just Martin Scorsese too.
Yeah.
Beautifully directed movie, great movie. Yeah, that's one that I thought of.
Well, I also have The Departed on my list, but keeping with Leo and keeping with Scorsese, Shutter Island I had.
Oh, okay.
And what makes the ending, I think, the shocking part for me is the emotional grab it gets you to, because as it's revealed throughout, is that Leo DiCaprio's gets brought into this mental institution because there's a murder, right? And he's investigating, and as we go through the movie, you find out that it's really just a game. He's actually a patient there. They're trying to help bring him back to sanity after the death of his wife. And they said basically, if you don't come out of this, like you're gonna get like lobotomized and yada yada. So like it gets to the point where at the end you think like like we tell him everything, it's gonna snap out of it, but he'd rather just not deal with the death of his wife, that he's willing to like give it all up to make it that all this fantasy is real, that this didn't actually happen. So it's like him knowingly keeping this charade going in order to, not have to process stuff. I thought that was kind of a shocking turn.
So I started watching the movie and then I got freaked out and turned it off, and I never watched the rest of it.
Oh, you should go back, man. It's good.
Is it a horror movie or is it just
no?
a
It's not. It's
suspenseful
just
movie?
suspenseful.
Okay, because there was a couple scenes like I said, probably about 20.
There's
20
nothing
minutes.
horror. It's more. It's the suspense and the,
Okay. So
and I guess like the sanitarium that he's in. It's like old times, like people.
like Alcatraz kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll have to give it a go. But yeah, I remember watching it and I was like, I really wanted to see the movie. Got about 20 or 30 minutes in, it freaked the shit out of me. I was like, nope, that's it. That's enough for me. Should have stuck with
I'll have a good day.
That's yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go and say the next one I had written down. Not necessarily the ending, but the ending, which led into the next movie, and that's Iron Man. The end credit scene was the first of its kind that we had seen back in 2008. Low expectations for this little movie called Iron Man. Did relatively well. All of the stories that you hear, but them writing the script as they're filming the movie and all that stuff. And it all comes down to this end credit scene where Samuel L. Jackson is in the, in the room in the dark, asking about the Avengers Initiative, and just end scene. Just holy shit. And for, the whole, if you know, minds are blowing. Everyone else is like, I don't get it. But soon everybody in the whole world don't know, now you know. Exactly. So, that was one. Just, again, not necessarily the ending of the movie, but just something that was unexpected. You heard rumblings, you stuck around, didn't really know what to expect. Was never anything of its kind.
Yeah, it could have been like the ending of Buckaroo Banzai, where they announced a second movie. Yeah. If that movie did poorly and you had Sam Jackson show up with the Avengers and there never was anything else, it could have been like the greatest tease that never happened.
That's right. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there was an end credit scene like decades before Iron Man, and that was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. When he comes out and he gets out of the shower, you're still here? Go home. So great movie. So Iron Man.
I'll keep that theme going and say Infinity War.
Oh, I had that on my list.
Which we can now discuss. It's not so much like the thing I found shocking about the ending was that it ended with them failing rather than going into the next movie. Right? You know what I mean? Like leading up to, is he going to get it? We're like, oh shit, he got it. Oh shit, he did it. And then like, what the hell? And then you see like, oh, this character was just come from $1 billion movie. He's getting dusted. Like, what's going to happen next? We all knew what was going to happen next, but it was just oh shit, they actually did this at this point, and now you got to wait a year to find out how it's going to get resolved. I never pictured that it was going to end with him winning, knowing there was a part 2. I thought it was the whole point was to stop, and we would get to the point where maybe he's going to get it. Maybe he has this, and then let's see a part 2. Like it was split in half almost, right? Where he gets all the stones, and it ends, and then what's he going to do with them? Not he gets the stones, he's going to use them. Half the world's gone. And then a year later, we find out 5 years have gone by.
So I don't know, like if you remember, like when you went to go see it, like were there any gasps or loud like, tons. Oh my God. Yeah. And there was for me too. When the dusting happened. And I feel like this was shocking. Like that element of it was shocking for the casual fan that wasn't paying attention to the roadmap of the MCU, where they were just more like watching the movie and being present in that moment, not knowing, like basically just blind sheep, not really knowing where the next movie is going to lead to.
I think also for those fans is that they also came out of a Comic-Con that you refer that called these two movies Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2, which leads you to believe it's half a story, not then they changed it. Now it's Infinity War. It's a self-contained story. Endgame is its own thing that continues like the overall story.
But yeah, like part of me was like obviously Black Panther just made $1 billion. He's got dusted. Like, he's gonna be coming back, you know, or Spider-Man is gonna be coming in more movies. So like,
you're
for
killing
those
these
that
people off,
knew,
you know they're coming back.
but you know, for
just a matter of
grandma,
how.
for grandma and grandpa that were taking their 9 or 10-year-old grandson or granddaughter to this movie, seeing that, and they're like, "Oh my God, Harold, what did we just expose our grandchild to?"
I don't know, Phyllis.
I don't know, Phyllis. Yeah. So yeah, that was you can appreciate the thought behind the process for the Russo brothers when they made it. Like, they really tried, and I think we've talked about this so much, but yeah, like, that's what's missing now, right? That's what's missing with MCU, is just the thought that's going into the storytelling, and so yeah.
Right, what do you got?
I have Usual Suspects.
Of course.
Yeah, so obviously Kevin Spacey's character, Verbal, you know, he's in the police station, he's talking with Chaz Palminteri, who I always know is just
Chaz
Sunny.
is awesome.
Like, Chaz is Sunny to me. Brooklyn, like, he's Sunny. But he plays the detective in the role, and they're in the cop station, and they're like, yeah, you know, we're convinced that, you know, what you're telling us is accurate, and Verbal plays the role of a
cripple. Yeah.
Cripple. And he's walking out of the cop station, and you see him in just one of the best movies, and it kind of cuts back and forth. So it's him walking out, lighting a cigar, or a cigarette, and you see his foot kind of dragging, and then you see Chaz, I don't remember the character's name, but just looking at the wall and hearing parts of the stories and starting to connect and realizing,
he's pointing out, he's just
like, realizing that
wall.
Verbal basically just put this whole story together based off of what was on the wall. At the same time, he straightens his foot and just starts walking more, you know, normally, for lack of a better term. One of the best movie endings to this.
It ends like one of the best lines ever. Like, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Yeah, convincing the world that he didn't exist, for sure.
Yeah.
That was one where it's like, holy shit, you know.
Just also a good
Singer too,
movie.
right? Like, Bryan Singer, crazy.
I had.
Did you have that one?
I did, because of course.
Yeah,
of course. Why wouldn't you? 7. I also had.
Yeah.
Just What's in the Box.
Yeah.
Like, that whole ending of and then like again, who hasn't seen it? So we are the whole.
Here's the thing: I've
movie.
seen that movie, and I mean, I'm amazed that I've got through it. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'll just say, okay, like, you've seen it, but it's still you think about it, it gets you. So the whole point of the movie is this: there's this serial killer who's killing people based on the 7 deadly sins. So at the end of the movie, they finally catch. Oh, he turns himself in, and part of his confession is that he's going to lead him to the next victim. So he drives into the middle of nowhere, and as they're sitting there talking, it's revealed that he has killed Brad Pitt's wife,
Gwyneth Paltrow.
but not revealed. Gwyneth Paltrow. Not really revealed, but kind of implied as he's telling the story, and he's trying to tie it into like the sins, right? So like, he killed based on his envy of the life that Brad Pitt's character had, and he's kind of trying to convince him to kill him to become Wrath. And then it's revealed that yes, he killed her. You know, a FedEx is delivered, and it's a box. What's in the box? It's her head. And oh, by the way, she was pregnant.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Jesus Christ.
You know, again, to egg him on to do it, and then boom, trigger gets pulled. So yeah, that one was shocking.
There was a period of time where like there were some, like, Brad Pitt had done some roles that were just really like not what he's known for now, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, 12 Monkeys, you know, 7. Like, there was just a period of time where he was definitely like testing the limits of his artistic, you know, skill. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This one is a phenomenal movie, and it was I want to say it was the first movie that Edward Norton starred in. It wasn't the like primary star, but Primal Fear. Have you seen that movie with Richard Gere? Okay, so for those that haven't, spoiler alert again, Edward Norton plays this altar boy named Aaron, who's charged for killing an archbishop in Boston or Chicago or whatnot. Richard Gere plays the like the hotshot lawyer that is, hears a story and is convinced that he's innocent, so he does he defends him for free kind of thing. But throughout the movie, they find out that he is not necessarily guilty of the crimes that he committed because of something that had happened. So he involves a psychologist, and the psychologist starts to pressure Aaron. And at the same time, this other character comes out, this other personality comes out named Roy. And it's like, what the fuck? Split personalities kind of thing. And so they get him off on insanity, and Richard Gere goes into the cell after the judgment's been given. And the whole time it was him just doing this whole facade where Roy was never Roy. It was Aaron all the time. And that was his way of getting out of the movie, or getting out of the crime, pardon me. Great ending to a scene. Or to a movie,
probably probably happens more often than not in real life too, right?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it was 1996, and I want to say it was Edward Norton's first
big lead.
Yeah, I think that's what launched him into the career that he had. Although you haven't really heard from him in the last 10 years, I want to say.
No, that's what happens when you bite the hands that feed you. That was the Marvel movie, right?
Was it because of Hulk?
I gotta say, he does quite the.
Because I've heard about that, but I mean that's a pretty hefty, penalty to pay. Because it's been
2008, right? Same year as Iron Man.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna go off the board with something that's not good.
Okay.
And it's the 9th entry in a series. It is the 9th Friday the 13th. Jason Goes to Hell. And he could, because it was a shitty movie. But what? So despite the whole the really dumb part of this movie, so he's killed in the beginning, and for whatever reason, this fucking doctor or coroner or whatever, the body's brought in, but his heart's still beating, and then he decides to eat his heart. But anyway, fast forward to the end, because that's really what we're talking about. Somehow Jason is back to being Jason, and there's more killings going on, and he gets stopped. But then at the end, you see his hockey mask just laying on the ground, and the camera moves in tight. And then out from the ground underneath is the claws of Freddy Krueger, who pulls it into the ground. And then you hear the laugh.
Yeah.
That's all anyone ever fucking remember, because it was like, holy shit, he's got his mask. What's going to happen next? And then not years and years and years later, they find the Freddy versus Jason movie, which is not tied to that at all.
Oh, it's not tied, eh?
No, well, I think at the time, if I read correctly, the plan was to have some sort of it's Jason and it's Freddy, and they're battling over who controls hell or whatever, something stupid like that. But it's all dumb at the end, right? But it was just that imagery of fuck. Here's the claws taken, and it's New Line Cinemas. They're gonna do a crossover. Much like the Avengers at the end. This is
and it never happened. Not
the way that.
Okay, so the last one that I have, is it the last one? Yeah, the last one that I have written down is The Life of David Gale. So another Kevin Spacey movie. Laura Linney is in it as well, and David Gale plays an activist who is accused and convicted of the murder of his co-worker, and he lives in a state where there's capital punishment, so he was going to be up for execution. So he eventually connects with this reporter, Laura Linney, who comes to find out that the person that he was convicted of killing didn't actually die at his hand. It was she committed suicide because she had leukemia. So she went to the house of the victim, found this tape, and everything was proving right that she had leukemia and whatnot. But the video showed his character walking out, and after she raced back to the police station to give him this evidence, but it was too late. He'd already been executed. And the twist is that he did this on purpose to become a martyr for the injustice of capital punishment in America or in the state or whatnot. So quite the twist. Have you seen that movie?
I think I may have seen in my law class. I can remember, but not vividly enough to remember where exactly I saw it. But it seems like I wanted somebody would have watched in my law class. That and the Pelican Brief.
Oh, the Pelican Brief's good. I don't know if watching it in your law class means that it was a boring movie, but it was a good movie. It was a good movie. That's the only one.
Well, obvious one with more twist endings. I'll put, even though there's 10 movies now officially in the series, Saw, the first Saw movie, I thought so basically the whole time in these traps, it opens with two guys in a room with a dead body in the center of the floor. You're told that this man had an inoperable brain tumor, took his life. Later, it's revealed that no, that guy the whole time was alive, just paying attention to what was going on in the room. So that was like the big shock ending. The person who orchestrated the whole trap is in the room with you.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's a fucking
That's
good
twisted.
movie. Yeah.
Is that with Carl Ewing? Carl Ewing is in the first one?
Carrie Elways?
Or Carrie
close.
Elways. Yeah, it was close.
This close. The Mist I brought up before. A different ending from than what's in the novella. Of, they survive the mist. They're heading out to try to find a way out, but then the car breaks down. They think they're going to suck. Basically, you kill everybody, and then the mist parts, and holy shit, you were seconds away from being rescued.
I want to watch that movie, even though now it's been spoiled. I want to watch that movie just to watch it, just to watch.
I've seen it many times, and every time that fucking scene
gets you.
Because
is it Stephen King? Is it a Stephen King book?
It's written by Stephen King. Frank Darabont wrote the movie and directed it, and him and Stephen King adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like it. Tom Jane doesn't get a lot of credit, but he's a good actor, and in this movie for sure. And then the last one, Psycho.
Norman Bates.
It was Norman Bates the whole time. Mom was dead. That one was.
Yeah, that was a good one. What about so? Would you put No Way Home as an example? Would you put? I saw that one as one that was potentially it had a shocking ending because it was where's it going to go? Everybody forgot who Spider-Man was. He's all on his own now, and I was like, I don't know if that was really shocking.
No, because the ending, the shock, not the part where he doesn't go and keep his promise to let Mary Jane know what was going on. MJ, not Mary Jane. Sorry. Not the same character, different universe. No, for me, that ending where he shows up with the note, ready to tell her, sees her, she got the wound on her head, but then sees that she doesn't remember anything. She seems kind of happy, and him not telling is what Peter Parker's supposed to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Peter Parker is about sacrifice.
And there was foreshadowing right from the very beginning of that movie when they're getting ready to open up those last envelopes, and she'd come to accept the fact that she didn't get in, and so I don't know. I saw it and I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily a shocking ending.
I think if I would put one of those MCU movies, more recent ones, as a shocking ending, I would say it'd be Multiverse of Madness at the very end when that fucking eye opens up and they're like, what the fuck is happening? Because in the next scene, it seems like he's okay with it.
Yeah.
Stephen Strange. Yeah. Seemed like a completely unnecessary ending scene to have him be okay with the one right after. Anyhow.
I can't think of any other ones. I'm sure there's a plethora of ones
Yeah, we could probably Fight Club, Memento, anything that has a twist ending. You can say were you shocked in it or not.
I remember the first, Lost was one of those TV shows, and you can go back a couple of episodes to my TV list, and it was on there. But we got pretty deep into that series, and I think one of the main reasons why we got into that, we got so far into that series, pardon me, is almost every episode or every half season or end of season cliffhanger was one that was like, oh my god, you saw the big statue with the leg and the the foot with the three toes, or you saw the cloud monster. There was always something where it was just a shock or a twist or something that was keeping you intrigued. That was one, and then it just eventually got to the point where it was like, oh, okay, like
That's enough of that.
You're chasing your tail now, right?
Yeah, like the only other one I could probably think of, and it wasn't even an ending; it was a part of an episode. Is when they how they did the killing or the death of Lori in The Walking Dead. How they changed it from the book, childbirth, and then Carl had to put her down, making him a man.
Really? It's like in the book was the best, like just getting popped right through.
Yeah, and she's carrying the baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
the book is more shocking than the show.
Shit, would have been another one too. Like, what comic books had shocking endings? And like, The Walking Dead is of recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
One of the titles were like, and I read it by trade. I didn't read it.
Same here.
Out of the 125 issues that it was, I'd say probably about 25 of them were issue by issue. But for the most part, it was all volumes. And just I remember like so many times, like when Glenn got killed by Negan, episode or issue 100, just turning the page and like, holy shit. Like one of those. Yeah, like just, and it was one of those series where it truly proved at how strong of a medium comics can be, where you can't see what's happening, and then you turn the page, and it just blows your mind. So,
all right, let's do our usual break and then go to some geek news.
This Halloween, Blockbuster Video has a special treat for your whole family. You can take home any of these great Halloween classics for just $7.99. Or rent 2 movies and get them for $3.99. Now, if that's not a reason to scream, what is? Make it a Blockbuster fright.
See what they did there?
question.
That's a go ahead.
How does Scooby-Doo fit into the other movies? And it's like
the Mystery Machine.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the Scary Movie, and if I was younger watching that, it'd freak me out. And then you see nothing but Friday the 13th and Halloween and Scooby-Doo, like, just in case, just to cover our bases. Something for the kids.
Something for the kids. But okay, first of all, who's walking in and spending $8 to rent one movie when you can drop it down to $4 to get 2?
Why rent 2? Was that the promo?
Yeah, the whole thing was you can rent any one of these movies for $7.99 or get 2 for $3.99.
Oh yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you?
For an extra, it's like the same price.
What year would you say that ad is from? I want to do a little time valuation money.
Well, they're all like kind of late 80s movies.
So we'll say late 80s.
Just say 1990. To me, that seems fair. I could actually check the file that I actually have. Oh no, it just has the 360p quality. Yeah, I would say that probably 1990, 91. Okay.
So
they're all VHSs, so it's not later in the 90s.
It would be $16.54. Which is still a pretty good deal for a movie.
$17. Well, I'll be taking that home and I'll be popping it in my VHS recorder and making myself a copy.
That's right.
Then... Fuck you, FBI warning.
Yeah. I don't care about your Stockholm 1977 bullshit.
Yeah. If I'm renting Halloween and Scooby-Doo, I'm making a copy.
That's right.
Kids got to watch something after I bring this back. And notice no mention of late fees. So
not yet, anyway.
They were still charging them, but they knew not to make a big thing of it. Not till later when they say no more late fees. It's official. We have our first MCU delay. Deadpool 3 will not be making its February release date.
Oh, fucking surprise.
Yeah. We're in day 100 of the actor strike now that the writer strike is over, so they can write the movies that they're filming, but they can't film them because there's no one to stand on set. So the rumor is, who's going to take its spot? Is it going to be Captain America, Brave New
Four?
was it?
New World Order.
New World Order.
Yeah.
NWO. Or
I ain't just doing this whole thing.
yeah,
For those
wrestling promo.
yeah, the wrestling promo. I keep thinking we have audio listeners as well.
That's right. I can't remember the other one that we're currently filming, but yeah, I guess it's
Are
gonna
you
be that one.
surprised though? I mean, we've talked about this before. Like this is the calm before the storm. Like let's talk next summer when we're in the height of what's supposed to be blockbuster movie season, and there's nothing available because of the writer's strike, or if whatever is available is a botched Frankenstein job of putting and patching something together and releasing it, but nowhere will it make the money that Maverick would, or before that, or Mission Impossible before that Maverick. And it's not we're gonna
nothing's
pay.
done and in the can, or they're sitting on, right?
Nothing's in the can
all...
for sure. Nothing's in the can.
Yeah, because we have the Marvels, which is coming out a couple weeks. But yeah, only Captain America: Brave New World is in post, which was supposed to come out in July. And the December 20th, 2024 was supposed to be Thunderbolts, but it hasn't even started. So I'll say Captain America move up, depending on how long.
When was Thunderbolts supposed to come out?
December 2024. Captain America, July 26th. And Deadpool 3, May the 3rd.
See, I guess that's part of the problem of having a sequential story run through multiple properties over the course of many years, is that when something falls out of line, it affects everything else. If these were just standalone movies, you'd be like, whatever.
Well, that's the other thing too, is once you have something that falls out of line, like you're saying, you have instances where, like, Doctor Strange was supposed to come out before No Way Home.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. So they pivoted, swapped it, and then fucked with the story. And then you end up with the mess that is Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have so many things that they're working on that you end up with a mess anyway.
I would just hope, and I'm pretty sure I don't have anything to worry about, but I just would like it not to get to the point where it's delayed for so long that Hugh Jackman pulls out. But then I think to myself, as I'm saying this out loud, that he more than likely, and any actor for that matter on this property, signs a contract with the studio for this movie that they can't take any other role until this obligation is met, I would imagine.
Probably, yeah. I think if you're in the thick of filming, unless you had an out, right? Like we were filming till here, and then I gotta leave. Yeah, I gotta leave by August 1st because I'm shooting this TV series, and now
that's a good point.
That's coming on, and maybe down in Australia where he's from, whatever he's working on is not the same union as SAG, so he can go film that while this is going on. Oh, then look, he broke his leg.
Yeah, but for sure, but wouldn't he need to be a member of SAG to make movies that union covers? Not to get into the nitty gritty, but I get what you're saying. But in that one in particular, maybe he would need to be a member in order to be able to take a role.
Here, I'll put this to you. So SAG strike is going on. You can't film any movies, but there are some TV shows that are filming over in Europe where those don't fall under, I guess, SAG rules that they can continue filming. Like The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, it got to continue, even though all this other shit was going on. So it could just be an international thing. So I don't know much about the unions. I ain't in one. You see this came out. Everything's just, the beans are being spilt. So when Marvel did Civil War, there was a big fight to cut the airport fight scene with having its heroes versus heroes, but it'd be superheroes versus super soldiers. And
what is a super soldier?
Well, I guess kind of what they were doing in the Captain America series, where there was more than one super soldier, people getting injected and shit.
Oh, no, this is better. I mean, the way that it was better. I mean, granted, the airport scene was as CG as you could possibly get with CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was
a
just
video game
terrible.
cutscene.
For sure it was. But when I think of what we got versus what we could have received, what we got was much better.
We also almost didn't get RDJ. I think Ike Perlmutter wanted to scrap him from the movie, which I heard before too. It was his contract and money, and said, "Fuck him, we'll get rid of him, and we'll go go a different way." I think this is probably where the Super Soldier came from.
For sure. But I mean, once you call it Civil War, you're kind of pot committed to those characters,
And,
regardless of the money.
The Russos had a vision, and Kevin Feige had a vision, and his aligned with the Russos. And when he went against Ike tried to get him fired. Bob Iger stepped in, and Ike no longer works there, and Kevin Feige's running the whole thing. So it's again, we talk about what we could have had. It's interesting to see that we could have had a completely different
and I mean, Captain America
CGI scene.
Captain America Civil War is basically an Avengers movie.
Yeah, looks like I say
of,
Spider-Man Far From Home is the cheapest Iron Man movie that they ever made.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's true.
Well, it is. It's all about Robert Downey Jr. without having Robert Downey Jr. there.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean Homecoming?
No, the second one.
The second one. Yes.
Because it's just pictures of RDJ and talking.
Oh, he even goes in there and he starts to build his own suit in the jet. Yeah.
And you're not paying the 125 mil. So, you probably already know the answer to this, but one of these producers explained why we get more Batman movies than we do Superman. Why do you think that is? Before I tell you what he says, what?
Because it's more realistic, and he's a more marketable. Well, no, marketable. I don't think it's any different than Superman is. I'm going to say more realistic.
That's what you want to go with? Are you sure?
You know what? Yeah, I think I'm wrong, but go ahead. Scorch me after you say
he's
the
more
answer.
popular. The eternal question: what makes it a hit? We got into this era with Batman, especially in the 80s and 90s. I think the grittier Frank Miller inspired version of him hit, and we all liked it. And we got Bruce Timm's version, which is very inspired by that. The film noir. There's this grittiness to him that differentiated him in a different way. The 60s. We all love, but it's a completely different thing now, and he's far more popular. It's that dark grittiness versus the eternal optimism that is Superman, I guess, right?
Yeah.
He's fun. He's optimistic.
I don't know if you saw this afternoon. Man of Steel was on AMC. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Turned it on. I don't care what anybody says. That movie's a good movie. It's a good movie.
People didn't like about Man of Steel, not just Zack Snyder with the slow motion, and I think you can tell me if I'm wrong. I love Kevin Costner, but I don't think people liked how
that they were messing
Jonathan
with
Kent, how Jonathan Kent was portrayed. He wasn't portrayed as in like the beacon that's supposed to shape Clark to be the hero that the world needs. He's you're not from here, and if you show that you're not from here, people are going to come after you. Like the part where he says, what was supposed to do? Not save them? Yeah. Okay.
Fair enough. That's tough love, though. I think that's just, you know what? That's life, and I feel like maybe people didn't, to your point, attach themselves to Jonathan Kent because in the comics, now these are comics, and we all know Zack Snyder tries to have this ultra real flavor with whatever movie he tries to make or does make.
Yeah, and he has his vision, and it's his vision.
Right.
Comics be damned.
And but yet pulls a lot of it from the comics, if not everything. But I think he was trying to convey that Jonathan was teaching Clark that, I mean, as shitty as it is, like there are going to be times where you just can't do anything about it, and people are going to die, and you need to accept it. Was the delivery there, and was it the right way to deliver that message to a young, impressionable child? Perhaps not, but
yeah, and you can also look at it as it's him looking out for Clark's interests too. Like, yes, you have these abilities, and yes, while they can be used for the greater good, you could also run the risk of either, maybe you go to save something, and like they kind of had it in The Boys too. Like, you have these powers, but maybe if you just, a little too strong, you snap somebody's neck. You go to help this bus, and like you pull a half of it, and the other half breaks in half, and he loses people anyway.
Right. So this is exactly what I was thinking in the tornado scene. We all know
Yeah. It's
for
safer
those
to
that
let me
are-
go than it is
for our
to,
audio listeners. I'm holding the hand up like Kevin Costner did,
and
and
shaking
then
your
he
head
gets
no.
swept away. And
Yeah.
then Clark, who is at that point in time, probably portrayed as like an 18-year-old or 19-year-old, like
Yeah.
late teen,
Yeah.
early 20s, we'll say.
Mhm.
Sees his father swept away and is gone forever, and he just screams. Well, wouldn't in that moment he be blowing like everything in his path away because he's just so like screaming and just
That's a good scene though, man. Like, it's like you
it's a
you're
great
literally standing there. I have the means to save you.
yeah.
I save everybody here in like a fucking millisecond.
So I'm
but
saying, like,
You're
it's
telling
a,
me I can't do that.
it's a good
You have
movie,
to
and like
put-
even when Russell Crowe was explaining what Krypton was, and when Zod came down, and like you started off by seeing Zod as this somewhat empathetic character, but with a twisted vision, to slowly to morph into the villain that he turned out to be. Like, it was a good movie. Like it I can see how and appreciate how when we saw that, we're like, okay, this is a vision that we can kind of work with, and then it just went to shit after that.
Yeah, like at the beginning, it's like a Thanos was right situation. Like, he's just born and bred to fucking protect Krypton, and it's gonna blow. But no, we gotta save it. You guys are all fools. You've destroyed all this with all the crap. We had to do it the right way.
I guess the other thing too that's kind of controversial is that he snapped his neck at the end. Would that have
Superman doesn't
happened?
kill.
No. Anyway,
Superman. Either does Batman. But
well,
we've had 6 movies, and they've been fast and loose with that rule.
yeah, 100% or we have, or they have. Comics.
Well, come on, like Batman Returns, he slaps a bomb to the guy's fucking belt and then smiles and punches him down.
Chucks
to a
him
fucking
down.
Vent. Yeah. Oh,
Even Batman 1. So, anyway, more popular Batman is, I guess.
Did he kill the Joker, or did he just try to prevent him from escaping, and then that just happened? Did he know the gargoyle was going to lift off the church?
No,
even though it was attached to his leg?
Straight up
Or he
killed
knew
him.
exactly what the fuck he was doing?
He killed him. For sure he did.
And then there's the I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you in Batman Begins. Did he?
That's
did he let
one.
him
That's
die?
actually, you know what? Sorry, if we can go back to our previous Shocktober, that's actually one
Okay.
too. Batman Begins, where if you don't know the mythos and you're just a casual fan, you're seeing Ken Watanabe as Ra's al Ghul, and you think that what was his name? Liam Neeson's name?
Henry Ducard.
Ducard was just the trainer, only to find out that roles reversed, or not reversed, but Ducard is actually Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Like, that's a twist. I'm gonna, you know what, put that in there.
Yeah, because it's using like it's just a misdirection, but it's being used as like supernatural, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but as Ra's al Ghul, you're dead. Like, or is this really just like it's a supernatural? Like, there's no Lazarus pit, right? He's dying, but you killed Ra's al Ghul, but he's alive because it's not really him. Like, they're all like, everyone's a decoy in the League of Shadows, which sounds better than League of Assassins, according to Christopher Nolan.
No, I like League of Assassins. Anyway.
So it's official.
Oh God.
Ezra Miller's out.
Yeah.
As is everybody who played the Trinity in the Marvel DCU or EU, as it were. So Ezra's out, Affleck's out, Gal Gadot's out, Momoa's out as Aquaman.
It needs to happen. I mean,
Fisher.
Ray Fisher,
Cyborg.
yeah.
I miss it. Oh, and obviously Henry Cavill, because we've already been.
But I
overcast
mean,
this
Ray Fisher he was a one movie guy with maybe a cameo or two in other movies. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I think but yet we have Amanda Waller.
Yep.
Just
She will live on.
she
Viola
will,
forever.
live in effigy. Like she will just keep on
right.
keeping on. Yeah, she's like anyway. Yeah, I think it's good. I think you just start fresh,
But keep Amanda Waller and Peacemaker.
Yeah, I didn't see Peacemaker, but I mean, as if they're keeping John Cena over Henry Cavill, who's actually a really good actor,
I guess you have to be friends with James
The
Gunn.
gun, the guns is
the guns,
the
the
guns,
guns
the
eyes.
guns eye, yeah, the guns
Yeah.
eye. Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe in like 5 years, when we're doing episode 220, we'll look back and be like, remember those days that we were talking about the DCU and they had no hope, and now they've replaced Marvel, which
I don't know. Like it seemed like we're more likely to have them both fail and be rebooted again by the time episode 220 comes.
Well, there was a podcast that I listened to.
Wait, you don't just listen to us?
Yeah, no, I do listen to this though. But there's a podcast called The Watch, I think it's called.
Okay.
And they were interviewing this woman. Again, very skimpy on the details, and I apologize for that. But she was basically going on about how Secret Wars is going to be used as the reboot for the MCU, which is like the worst kept secret to anyone who knows anything about comic books. Like that was going to be their way to get out and clean up the mess. Which there's a book that's coming out. So let's put a pin in it. I'm going to have some more information next week because I want to find out when this book is coming out and learn a bit more about it. But more insight into the MCU shenanigans that I guess have been going on. The 3-card Monte that is that universe right now, I guess you could say.
And the last little bit of look for the red lady of Geek News. So the Boys Gen V spinoff on Amazon Prime, which I am really big on right now. I'm enjoying it. Got announced. Has been announced that it's got picked up for a second season, and they said also that how this season ends, it's going to lead directly into season 4 of The Boys, and how season 4 ends will lead right into season 2 of this. So I guess The Boys cinematic universe, I guess I don't know why I made myself huge there. Yeah, you needed to see me right there in that moment. So there you go.
That's great. That's great. We were caught up on The Boys, and we heard good things. Like I heard that this was coming out. I think we might have talked about it a while ago, but we haven't seen it yet. But I like that where it got renewed, it's got picked up. It's going to lead into season 4. Season 4 goes into 2, and then 2 goes into 5, and so on and so forth. I think that's going to be and the whole Garth Ennis Boys universe could work because you have a plethora of just imagination that you can use for characters and their powers and like the backstories and how fucked up they can be. And it's a unique twist on shared universes that are out there today, right?
Yeah, and what I enjoy a lot about this series, and not just the show, but The Boys, put it all together, is how they shit on what Marvel and Warner Brothers and Disney and all them are doing with their superheroes and stuff, but that also ties really into the world that we live in now, like just the political climate and the social status and all that stuff. And like even here in this Gen V 2, there's a character, and the character's power, the character's name is Jordan, shifts between being a male to female. So referred to as they in this, so has all like the pronouns and stuff like that. And there's a conversation with the parents about, you're our son, but he likes being, switched to the girl and all that stuff. So I think it's and how it's not being taken serious as the girl, but is as the boy, and things like that. It's again, and there's also one that her
But are they
powers are shrinking and growing, but she can only shrink if she's bulimic. So there's that. So she gets smaller by
See, I
throwing
like
up.
that. I like. So are they? Are they taking the piss, which is an English slang? Are they being sarcastic when they're talking about the shifting from boy to girl?
Oh no, it's like
are they like
it's
legitimately?
it's all being taken very earnest in this. It's very serious. It's not. It what I know. Some of the other stuff they're taking a piss on is how
Taking the piss.
Taking the piss. Apologies to the British listeners. I know we're big in the UK. Is how people own your truth, that kind of stuff. We know this is how you obtain your powers, so we're going to exploit it for the media purposes. We're going to exploit it on your YouTube channel. We're going to exploit it on social media. That kind of stuff is where the piss is being taken.
So is there, at this point, it's only season 1 and it got renewed for 2, which is great, but is there any direct correlation to the boys, or like other than knowing that it's in the same universe? Like, do you see any of the characters from the boys, and they're all
so
the
school that they're in is obviously from Voight, right? It's ran by Voight, the company that looks after them. But they're all.
And is that the school that they went to visit in season 2? I want to say, or
no, I believe it's a different school, a different facility. Yeah, they've touched on the one that was brought up in previous seasons, but so like they're all trying to get into the 7. There's a statue of one of the 7. No, not Homelander. Well, in the poster is one, but the one in the is fuck, I forgot his name now. I have to pull it up because I'm gonna butcher the whole story.
Fake Aquaman?
No, not the Deep.
Fake Snake Eyes?
A-Train.
A-Train.
One of the
fake Flash.
Fake Flash. One of the characters is supposed to be his son, illegitimate son.
Okay.
That, and then there's they bring up like Homelander, like stuff that he's done over the course of the story, and there's cuts to that, and there's been cameos of the Deep, but it's not like in video of setting up something and things like that. But no, it's very, and like I said, the thing about the show is what makes it so great is that they're all original characters, right? Well, yes, there's overlapping powers from real characters. Just again, it's something that we don't have to worry about. Oh, this isn't being adapted properly, or this isn't being, characterized better than the books versus in the show.
That's not my Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Are you caught up on the boys?
Yep. That's why it's on. Just waiting for season 4.
I'm excited for season 4 and where that last left off.
We'll have to do a deep rewatch when I think I don't even know if they've actually said when season 4 is coming out. This year's almost over.
But yeah, like just how it ended, where like you almost felt that Homelander has now fully embraced his evil side, or like he just, spoiler alert, he took the head off of the one protester, and people were chanting, and he was like, yeah, like okay, like I'm eating this up, kind of thing.
Yeah, that plays into the
man. Does he play a good character? Like
he does.
Does he not play the shit out of Homelander? It's amazing. Like so believable.
It's a ballsy actor to take on that role, especially some of the stuff that they've had him do.
Yeah, but even like even throughout the seasons where there's scenes within an episode where you can see like he's really struggling to hold it together, and if he just wants to just let loose and just unleash his fury, but then he pulls it back in, and he's kind of like twitching, and does these things, and just so well portrayed. Well,
even that scene in the last episode of season 3, Like it was a meme forever where it's like, he's unsure and then they start chanting. So he's got the shocked, like, oh shit, what did I do face? And then it slowly morphs into like a smile, right?
Like a smiling. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I can finally be who I've always been. Like
Yeah.
I've always wanted to actually be me and not put on this fake persona.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Did you find out when season 4 is coming out?
It's no date.
God, where are the interns when we need them? Of course, you give them the weekend off. Here's Cory working 23 out of 28 days, but yet the interns have the weekend off.
Well,
Seems a bit unfair.
Someone should be off, I guess.
Yeah. So once we're done Vanderpump Rules, I think that'll have to move quite high up the list. And it's true, though.
You're not. When's that done?
I don't know. We're going to be wrapping up season 7 tonight, and then there's 8, 9, and 10. So,
Lord,
yeah, it's a lot.
All right.
It's a
Well,
lot.
better let you get to it. I guess that's all I got.
Yeah.
That's open collar for me.
Well, you know what? It's I don't know if we're going to actually finish the season tonight, but we'll see. But that's all for this week's episode of Open Collar. Thanks for joining us for another round of discussion, analysis, and all things movies, TVs, and comic books. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a rating and review. We are available on all of your podcast aggregators of choice. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Open Collar Pod. We, as always, appreciate your support and can't wait to bring you even more great content next week. Until then, I am Steve. That is Cory, and this is another episode of Open Collar.
And now, until they tell us to pull this down.
For now.
For now, you're Feel Good Feldman.
Why are you such a bitch? Hey! Look, what the do not accept me.
You guys,
You don't call my wife a look.
Stop.
You want to step?
Stop.
You want to step?
Guys.
You want to step? I will knock you out, kid.
Hey.
You don't want to do this.
It's not worth it.
You get that, right?
Stop.
You know this.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Dude, I will kill you. Dude, I'll mess you up, dude.
Stop.
I don't know what the is going on with you and Susie, but I'm done with it. Do you understand me? And that's it. It's over, okay? You need to go. I need my time, and she definitely needs her time.
Okay, look. I'm gone.